Yeah, we party till dawn.
Still on the couch, phone buzzing like it's pissed in my mouth. Ice bloodshot head, feels like dead. Still drunk, still bullish, no regrets. Shot of Jack, cold pizza bite. Char looking sexy in the early light. Robin Hood yelling, are you awake? Hell yeah, brother, I'm here to overtrade. Mama said, boy, you ain't right. I said, mama, future's green tonight. And chicken tendies, my friend. Bald calls I don't understand. Margin looking like a one-night stand. Broker rap says, bro, please stop. I said, shut up, bitch, we're going to the top. But it takes Brazil now. I said, nah, diamond hands, watch me drown. Portfolio smell like gasoline, but I swear to God, said last call clown. I said nah, market opens in an hour now. We party till dawn, traded in the morning. Beer on my breast, still hit the button, no warning. Hand shaky, heart beating like a drum. Chasing them tendies while the sun come up. Yeah, we party till dawn, traded in the morning. If I blow this account, guess I'm learning. But when that bell rings and the candles ascend, it's hangovers, bad decisions, and chicken tendies, my friend. Called asking where I've been. I said sick. He said again. Truth is I was watching them spy, sweating harder than a church daylight. Ex-wife wants child support. I said babe, I'm long volatility, show remorse. Gas tank empty, heart full of hope. If this trade hits, we're buying the boat. If it's green, we cheer. If it's red, we drink. If it goes sideways, we lie and say long-term think. We party till dawn, traded in the morning. Beer on my breast, still hit the button, no warning. Hand shaky, heart beating like a drum. Chasing them tendies while the sun come up. Yeah, we party till dawn, traded in the morning. If I blow this account, guess I'm learning. But when that bell rings and the candles ascend, it's hangovers, bad decisions, and chicken tendies, my friend.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where I'm Matt, you're Kohrs, and together we might just pull off this show. I don't know why I'm holding the microphone today, because it has its own arm. I guess that was a little weird. So we're not necessarily starting off the best, a little bit of awkward physical mannerisms, but hey, that's me, a guy who's all in on physical comedy. Anyway, it's a beautiful Wednesday, January the 14th, aka Hump Day, aka Supreme Court Decision Day, aka Inflation Report and Retail Sales and VIX Expiration Day. So you can tell there's going to be a lot of humping going on this particular hump day because there is so much packed into one 24-hour period, and in reality, one, I guess, regular trading hour period. So, folks, I hope you had a phenomenal day yesterday. Not that anyone asked, I had a horrible trading session. Yes, if you were in the Discord, if you saw my Twitter account, you know I ended up making money, but as I always preach, you can make bad decisions and still make money. So even though I made money, it kind of all came from bad decision making. So I'm not happy about that. Obviously, I feel as if I got lucky because yes, my accounts were green at the end of the day. But remember, your luck cannot last forever into the future. If you continually make bad decisions, it's only a matter of time before the market gods really end up smiting your accounts, if you will. So I'm going to count my lucky cards because yes, as I've said now 3 times, I did make money, but I cannot stress this enough. A good trader is a person who is continually making good decisions, and I was not making good decisions yesterday. So hopefully today I could turn it a bit around, and it does look as if we're going to have some interesting movement and volatility in the markets today as we talk about VIX expiration happening at market open, as we talk about the inflation reports and retail sales that already came out. Market took a little bit of a hit, recovering right now from those reports, but the belle of the ball, the Cinderella, the glass shoe that we're all looking for as she left the party there, it's all going down allegedly at 10 a.m. Eastern. So in a mere 54 minutes, we should be finding out if the Supreme Court deems Trump's tariff/duties to be legal. Now, in general, it's not the concept of tariffs or duties being legal in the most general sense. It's more of, can the president, is it within executive powers to use IEPA, the IEEPA, to be able to institute tariff/duties because it's not specifically named in them? That's what the Supreme Court is leaning into today. They're weighing in on today. That's what we're getting their opinions on today. Now, as you're about to find out in a couple minutes from now, whenever I shut the fuck up and actually get to the show for the day, right now the odds are very low that they will rule in favor of Trump. In fact, there's only a 30% chance that they rule in favor of Trump, a 70% chance that they are in fact illegal. If that likely outcome actually comes to fruition, as in they are illegal, I want to make it clear that Trump has 2 to 3 things available to him to keep these tariffs and duties going in the short term. So it's not like they're going to be disappearing overnight. That is basically just the TLDR of the situation. So of course, we're going to be getting into that. I want to talk a little bit about Iran, a little bit about Greenland. I want to talk a little bit about earnings. We heard from Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citi this morning. None of them doing well, kind of going the way of JP Morgan. So right now, even though we've only heard really from major financial plays, and I guess also Delta, the financial sector in the recent bout of earnings, not looking so solid. So we're going to get a little bit into that. And then, of course, as we get closer to market open, I'll give you the key levels of the day where we see all the big money positioned. But folks, real shot that we might be testing 6,900 today. Real shot about that. So something to pay attention to. Of course, if chaos ensues, feel free to pay attention to gold, silver, Bitcoin. All are looking real good. Bitcoin is looking hot right now. So maybe something to throw onto your watch list and maybe set up some alerts for potential breakouts. But as I've been preaching for about the past week now, in the short to medium term, I really like how Bitcoin is looking at this current moment in time. So like I said, give that a little bit of a sneak peek. And with that being said, let's get rocking. Stock futures lose ground as traders weigh more bank earnings. Well, I already kind of, I guess, let you know on that one that they are not looking so good. And of course, we will be getting to that. But first, I think we should be informed global citizens and learn a little bit about the larger picture of some of the craziness that's going on. Greenland-Denmark writing for key meeting to assuage Trump. Solid SAT word right there. Not that that really matters in our life anymore, but I thought this was a pretty good breakdown here from Bloomberg. Is it going to load? Can I get the volume? I know these...
Now we are faced with a geopolitical crisis, and if we have to choose between the United States and Denmark here and now, then we choose Denmark. We choose NATO, we choose the Kingdom of Denmark, we choose the European Union.
That's their problem. That's their problem. I disagree with him. I don't know who he is, don't know anything about him, but that's going to be a big problem for him.
Now, the remarks come ahead of a high-stakes meeting of Danish and Greenlandic foreign ministers with the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Vice President J.D. Vance. That's coming later on today. Let's look ahead to it then. I'm joined by Bloomberg's Ros Matheson now. Ros, good morning. I wonder how the Greenland comments have resonated with Trump. No one wants another Oval Office car crash to happen today. Will they deter him? And could it all impact a potential peace deal for Ukraine?
As you can see, quite a show of unity between the prime ministers of Greenland and Denmark, saying, like, if we have to choose now, we're obviously choosing Denmark. And Donald Trump's quite dismissive response, which was, I don't even know who the prime minister of Greenland is. I know nothing about this person, but he has a problem. So that's kind of the usual quite gruff rhetoric that we've seen from Donald Trump on this. But as you say, the key thing is this meeting that's happening between the foreign ministers, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, because Marco Rubio's rhetoric on this has been, in a way, more moderate, more softer than the US, than some others in the US. When he's asked, he's talking about, no, there's no immediate talk about military action. This is more about acquiring Greenland or just increasing our strategic interests there. So that's our economic interests, be it around, for example, critical minerals or around strategic interests to protect the Arctic from the growing influence of other powers, including Russia and China. So he's been quick to sort of push back against the idea that military options are on the table. Does he do so again in this meeting today? But the issue for the Europeans in all of this, and this is also an issue for countries like Germany and France, is just trying to understand what is driving all of this with Donald Trump. Because in the end, it's his decision about what happens from here, from the US side. Is it really about national security? Is it about something else? And there's no great clarity on all of that. And a strong sense from some of the Europeans so far is that Donald Trump's trying to really keep them out of it. Because, of course, with Ukraine, for example, he prefers to negotiate bilaterally, directly with Russia, directly with Ukraine, cutting Europe out of it. And there's a sense already of concern on Greenland that it might be a repeat of all of that. So obviously they'll be watching very closely what happens with that meeting today. But for Europeans, obviously also trying to get their foot in the door to be a voice in the room.
All right, so a little bit of an update there on Greenland. They're kind of pushing back. If you ask me, it's kind of savage that Trump's like, I don't even know who you are. But remember, this all boils down to security, not just national security, but global security, especially against Russia and China. And right now, everyone wants us to provide security, but yet they're not going to give the security levels that Trump deems is necessary. So the meeting is this week. Marco Rubio is going to be there chit-chatting, so don't be surprised if we get updates there. A little bit more of a pressing matter is the craziness currently still playing out in Iran. Iran's death toll jumps as Tehran shrugs off Trump threats. So to my understanding, this is a lot of socioeconomic issues that are all kind of coming to a head at once. Obviously, the people are very, very unhappy, and they're showing it with a serious protest. And I guess the country as a whole, or the leadership of the country, I should say, has responded by just kind of taking them out, which is wild. So this situation, obviously, just as any moral human being, you'd hope that it just kind of like resolves without bloodshed, but here we are, and apparently it's getting way worse than you would assume. Come on.
A lot to discuss with you. Let me just pick up with President Trump's comments there, his post on Truth Social saying, quote, help is on the way.
Big update.
What type of help would actually benefit the protesters on the ground?
The kind of help that would help protesters on the ground is for the U.S. to do nothing, because if the Americans were to attack any kind of a target in Iran, that would further justify the government's clampdown on the protests. It would validate their claim that the protesters are supported by the United States and by Israel. And so I think the best thing that the United States can do is really to sit aside and let events take their course, which is against Donald Trump's nature, unfortunately.
Let them take course.
Okay,
Jesus,
so if you think it's better for the U.S. to sit back and do nothing to see how this all is going to play out,
seriously,
how much of an existential threat do you think these demonstrations actually are to the Iranian regime? Do you see this as the beginning of the end then?
That's a good question, and I don't think anyone knows the answer to that quite. at some point demonstrations take on a life of their own and they become uncontainable. Have we reached that point yet or not is difficult to tell. So far, there are no indications that the security forces are either declaring their political neutrality or that there's any kind of tensions within the ruling elite. Everyone in Iran, in the Iranian government, appears to be speaking with the same voice, wanting to contain the protests. And unless and until there's some sort of an indication that the security forces are either defecting the government or not willing to shoot on the demonstrators, then I wouldn't say we've seen the end of the Islamic Republic. I think it's important to remember that we've written the obituary of the Islamic Republic many times in the past.
Iran defense minister says we'll respond to any U.S. aggression. And then this guy is saying that the U.S. should just sit back and let it happen as these people are getting mowed down. Holy cow.
Is this the beginning of the end? Is this time different? I think that's hard to tell at this point, at least.
Is there any sense at all, and I hear what you're saying now about the central command still being in place from the regime's perspective?
Quick question. I'm not trying to make light of this situation at all, but this is like something that's going to bother me for the rest of the day, so I might as well just ask you guys now. What the fuck is her name? Jumana? I've never seen this before. Joanna Man? Did her parents name her after the cult classic movie Joanna Man? Has anyone at all ever seen this name before in their life? Just a question. Just a question.
But are there any signs at all that perhaps the security forces may be growing tired of the clerics, of having the religious supreme leader dictate the country's direction? I mean, is there a possibility that there could be a replacement with, say, a reform-minded military individual? So somewhat of a continuity, but a replacement at the top.
Right. Again, that's another excellent question, and it's a point that has actually been openly discussed in Iran. We don't know quite how the Revolutionary Guards operate or what their internal thinking is. In many ways, at least to those of us who are not in the intelligence community, the Revolutionary Guards remain a black box. And if they make a move, let's say, hypothetically, if they were to place Supreme Leader Khamenei under arrest and install an interim caretaker government, that is something that many people have foreseen in the past, but it has never happened. And at least on the surface, publicly, there are no indications that that might happen for the time being, but it is something that is often discussed in relation to Iran.
Okay. I want to come back to the conversation we had at the beginning, which is the potential for U.S. action. And let's say they actually do go down the military route at this point, because it's not out of the question. They did something similar last summer. Yesterday, a sponsor for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Qatar warned that if the U.S. do get involved, it would be catastrophic for the region. Do you agree that there could be broader spillover effects to the region, to the U.S. assets in other parts of the Gulf, if they were to go down the route of military intervention?
I do. In fact, I live in Qatar myself, and for the first time, I am genuinely concerned. And the reason is that the so-called axis of resistance doesn't exist anymore, and military leaders...
Quick update on the name, because I know it's pressing. It's pronounced Jumana, and it's Arabic name for meaning pearl. This is a kind of a rare spelling of it, but it is pronounced Jumana. Yeah, and Arabic for pearl. Interesting.
And commanders in Iran are quite aware of that. So
at least we solved the first problem of the day.
instead of resorting to the axis of resistance and proxy groups to harm American interests here and there, they're likely to resort instead to their missile program. And they were not going to hit the American heartland, but hit American targets in their own vicinity and in the region, in the Middle East or in the Persian Gulf region. And so that is an ominous development. And I think that's why we saw the very pointed remarks by the Qatari Foreign Ministry. This does not bode well for regional stability.
Does not bode well for regional stability.
A lot to do.
Which I guess I agree with that statement. And this thing is picking up kind of at an exponential rate. I mean, Trump is being asked about it daily. He's talking about it in press conferences. So it is something to put on your radar. And I'm not saying that this is the right political, military, strategic move, but for the sake of the plot, I think it would be really cool if we just do the same thing again that we did to Maduro, just to get the headlines, just to see what MSNBC has to say, just to see what CNN has to say, just to see how much of a fret Twitter gets into. Once again, I'm not even saying it's necessarily the best, most appropriate move, but for me and the entertainment of my life, the stuff that we could chit chat about here, I would vote on, let's just do Maduro 2.0. Let's go in, put a bag on his head, get him on a ship and sail away. And then just start posting pictures and the memes and the GIFs. Dude, imagine if we literally just run it back again. Just 100% run back just run the same play over again. It got us a touchdown the first time. Why would it not work the second time? Get Zelensky too. Like, that just becomes what we do as a country. We just start capturing people. Obviously, low likelihood that it's going to happen, but I wouldn't say that is a 0% shot. I wouldn't say that at all. So anyway, that's some of the larger news, obviously kind of honing into today in our market. At 8:30 this morning, we got the PPI report. We also got retail sales. Retail sales coming in slightly higher than expected. PPI cooling down from the most recent read, just so you guys know there. Today, on top of all these major macroeconomic events, it is also VIX expiration. Remember, this week is an OPEX week. It's the monthly OPEX for equities and other related assets, but the vol contracts expire 2 days prior. And since OPEX is Friday, 2 days prior to that is today, Wednesday. The VIX contracts expire today. Please do not be surprised, on top of the other things going on, if we have a bit of craziness at market open, and I'm expecting more than normal craziness because of this. Trump says we're screwed if Supreme Court rules against his tariffs. At 10 a.m. today, we are going to be finding out if Supreme Court rules in favor of Trump tariffs. At this moment in time, there's only a 27% chance that they do rule his tariffs to be legal. As in, there's a 73% chance that they rule them to be illegal, which on the surface level, like right out of the gate, has an impact of $135 to $150 billion of duties already collected. But from there, as Trump has recently been bringing up, what about all these companies that, because of tariffs and duties, have basically made handshake deals of building out new plants and manufacturing centers and other deals like that in the U.S.? Are they going to disappear? So that's another secondary thing to consider. But as I've alluded to at the start of the show, remember, in the short term, there are things that Trump can use to keep the tariffs going in the short term. I think the longest one I saw was he can somehow use a different section, this, that, blah, 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 for another 150 days. He could be ending up extending it. So he has about 2 to 3 things up his sleeve that he can do in the short term. But really, what's in question now, and I want to be very, very clear about this, it is not the concept of, are tariffs in a general sense legal or illegal? We know that they're legal. The question here is, can the executive branch use IEEPA, the IEEPA, to basically institute tariffs? That is the legal question. That's what's going on. So I know there's going to be many people in here who are Trump supporters saying, of course they're illegal. And I know there's many people in here who are going to be anti-Trump saying, of course they're illegal. And I think a lot of the rhetoric is around just generically, can he do it? That is not the question today. The question today is specifically, can the president use IEEPA to institute tariffs? That is the entire question. It's not, can the president institute tariffs? Can he not do it? Blah, blah, blah. It's specifically, can the president use IEEPA to institute tariffs? Yes, no, maybe so. At this moment in time, it seems as if that is going to be a nah. So 73% chance that not going to be happening. But once again, that means 3 in 10 times we're all going to be a little bit surprised, and we're going to be finding that out in about 35 minutes. A major development in Trump's Fed feud is set to happen next week in the Supreme Court. So as much as we're talking about the Supreme Court right now, we're going to be doing that next week, and this one's going to specifically relate to, can Trump fire Lisa Cook? And remember, that was the whole Bill Pulte thing about something about mortgage fraud, even though Bill Pulte has his head up his ass and he's probably the dumbest person in the entire administration, which is kind of crazy to say because the administration is large. So just statistically, to be the dumbest one in the administration, hey, I guess that's an accolade of sorts. But anyway, the Supreme Court most likely going to shoot this one down too, just because of how poorly Bill Pulte kind of built up the case and the information that he got from it. It sounds as if he got it from an illegal means, and that guy is just an asshat. And if you ask me, the Trump administration should get rid of him as quickly as they can because he's very much causing them more headaches than he is benefiting them. He's even rumored to have gotten his ass beat by Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, which is actually a pretty phenomenal story. And more recently, he is thought to be part of the reason of the DOJ currently looking into Powell, which right now he's already getting quite a bit of blowback from his own team. And when I say he, I mean referring to Trump, and blowback from just literally right-leaning Republicans. So like I said, Bill Pulte is just causing more headaches than he is benefiting the administration whatsoever. So another thing to pay attention to next week. Trump attacks Powell again amid Fed independence fears. That jerk will be gone soon. Is he going to get fired? No. The end of his term is this May. And at this point, even if he were to quote unquote get fired, it would get caught up in the legal process that would probably take till May anyway. So at this point, the administration is just riding out the Powell chairmanship. And then from there, it's either going to Kevin Warsh, who is currently the front runner on Kohrs, or it might be going to Kevin Hassett, who used to be the front runner, but is now followed to second place. So in the meantime, I'm sure we're going to hear this rhetoric. I'm sure every single FOMC meeting, the next one is at the end of the month, January 28th. I'm sure we're going to be hearing even more there. And it's just going to, every single FOMC meeting, we're hearing this, every single inflation report, jobs report, we're just going to be hearing this time and time again. So from there, whatever. But we know in the short term, it is causing chaos and people don't want to be in the US dollar or US equities. Blistering metals rally sends gold and silver and copper to records, and it's a lot. Resource nationalism could propel gold to 5,000 and silver to 100 this year, according to investors. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. I'm just saying right now, this is one of the few times I can remember that there's been such a FOMO, a fervor in the world of really these soft metal commodities, and gold all-time high, silver all-time high, copper all-time high, palladium is looking good, and then even digital gold. I know that ever since early October until recently, Bitcoin's getting beaten up. But if you look at the daily chart, it is currently looking pretty strong. But please remember, we're also in earnings season. Wells Fargo, Citi, Bank of America, none of them did well this morning. Tomorrow, TSMC, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, please pay attention to that. Bank of America tops estimates on better than expected net interest income, still got hit. Citigroup tops estimates on as loan loss provisions come in lighter than expected, still got hit. Why are they all getting hit right now? Well, it's because of the whole credit card cap from President Trump and the lack of clarity of what in the world is going on there, just so you guys know. Market's about to open in 30 seconds. So before it does, just so you know, these are my key levels of the day. If we were to open right now, we are at 6933, which is roughly below our close. So actually, there is an upside gap fill today. If you choose to play it, best of luck to you. Yesterday's low is 6939, and we're scheduled to open at 33. So yes, there is an upside gap fill. Overall, this is a pretty choppy, large area from 75 down to 25. Bullish above, bearish below. I mark out, as I always do, the high, the low, the close, and then the yellow horizontal lines are all where the big money positions are at. You can see big support at 25 all the way down to 905. You can see resistance at 55, resistance at 75, and resistance at 7,000. Once again, these are all those big money positions. And on that note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. It's not like you could take it with you when you go anyway, but the market is getting smacked out of the gate. So we did already get that upside gap fill that I was talking about. See right here. Let me go to the 1 minute just so you can kind of see what happened. Did we actually officially get it? Let me move. Oh, nope, not technically. Sorry, I misspoke, but we're about to get it. We opened up at 6933, and the upside gap fill is at 6938. We'll call it 39. We almost got it right there, but technically the upside gap fill is still in play. So paying attention to that. We also have a big resistance at 6940 at this point right here, or excuse me, right here. If we break above and hold above 40, I'm paying attention to 55. And then I just want you guys to know there's massive support at 6925. So that's going to be an interesting level to watch. As of this moment, it is the biggest gamma level of the day. So 6925, which I do have marked out, it is the bottom of the transition zone. We should be paying attention to it. But remember, especially on mornings of VIX expiration, there's a little bit more volatility and I guess choppiness and whipsaw than normal. So please be prepared for that. But on top of that already elevated craziness, at 10 a.m. today, we're hearing from the Supreme Court. So we have about 28 minutes to go. Hopefully they bring on our boy Rick Santilli. I don't know if they will or they won't, but I'm just telling you, if they don't, your boy's gonna riot. So hey, I guess it's in the hands of CNBC now. But anyway, yes, I'm watching the support level, but I just wanted to let you know for myself. Let me switch this up so you can see it. I'm not going to be making any trades. Here's my accounts. I have some big evals on Take Profit. I have my 15 main Apex accounts. I have 2 evals I'm working on FFN, and I have 5 fresh PAs on Apex, the small ones. If you watched the stream yesterday, you saw what I did. I made a really stupid mistake, and I was accidentally copy trading all of my accounts together when I should have been trading the smaller accounts separately, just because they don't have as much buffer as the bigger accounts. I was accidentally trading them together, and the drawdown of the large accounts was fine on the large accounts, hence why I ended up making 2K per account over there. But there was just not enough buffer in the smaller accounts for them to survive. So I ended up breaking, I think, the MAE rule for like the 3rd time in a row, and then that causes issues. So then I just kind of went for a degenerate YOLO to try to make it all back, and the degenerate YOLO just did not work out. So just want to let you know where we're at. Obviously, if you want to fact check me on any of this, I do very consistently every single day explain what's going on my Twitter account. I post the approves, the denieds, the requests, the daily conclusion. I'm attempting to be as transparent as humanly possible so you can follow with the day-to-day saga if you so choose. I'm getting a lot of alerts over here on individual names. What's going on? AMD trying to hold the breakout. Google hit an all-time high yesterday. Nvidia actually looking weak, potentially getting a bit clocked here. There is a downside gap fill to 181.45 if you're watching Nvidia, and hopefully if it does get hit, it quickly bounces off of that. Meta is kind of ruining my life, if I'm being completely honest with you. Apple, after having only red days, is now apparently only having green days. Tesla just dancing around this cloud, not really breaking out or breaking down. Microsoft looking very weak for right now. Hopefully this can catch a bid soon, but nothing but down and down and down. It just has not been trending the right way. Amazon finally taking a breather after a pretty large pop. At this point, I'm curious if it's going to rebound there. Palantir kind of like many of these other major tech names right now, right at its EMA is not really trending. Avago tried to break out, currently getting smacked, but like all the other ones, currently at all those major EMAs. ASML is just running. Walmart is running. I believe that's an all-time high for Walmart. It is crushing it. WMT, I know it's not the sexiest equity to trade, but it is moving, grooving like no other. Rumble's at its cloud. Netflix trying to get a little bit of a rebound, but dude, this thing is just getting pounced on. Oracle also getting pretty destroyed. DJT just going flat. SoFi just going flat. Hood going flat. MSTR finally showing a little bit of life because Bitcoin is also showing a bit of life. This is a beautiful technical breakout. Slowly grinding higher highs, higher lows, recapturing the EMA, getting knocked down, putting in that higher low, breaking up. I love that setup. I really do. If you don't have Bitcoin on your watch list right now for an active medium term trade, I don't know what you're doing, because that is a beautiful setup. What else do we have? CoreWeave trying to break out. Open trash stock, looking for it to break down. Qubits sideways, BITX up, obviously. IONQ sideways, looking bearish. Irene trying to break out. Rigetti sideways. Oklo giving that retest. If it can quickly bounce, that would be the first higher low, so probably worthwhile to pay attention to. Texas Roadhouse, my favorite stock of all time. It's breaking out. It's looking beautiful. I guess all I can say is if you're betting against Texas Roadhouse, the market gods are going to make you pay. Ripple, maybe a higher low. Solana trying to break out. ETH looking like Bitcoin. Bonds trying to catch a little bit of a bid. Oil is actually breaking out, probably because of the craziness in Iran. A small cap sector hit an all-time high yesterday. Gold, Gold hit another new already. Gold hit another new all-time high today. Silver also hit another new all-time high today. Congrats to all of you who have been playing this. Dude, this commodity rip is fucking insane. So I know some of you in chat, maybe a lot of you in chat, have been making money off of it. And honestly, a round of applause to you. That it's just ripping. Dude, it's ripping. Congrats. Seriously, massive congrats. Walmart is joining the NASDAQ 100 before open, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so whenever companies get put into bigger indices, such as the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, it is generally viewed to be pretty bullish because all the other people in this world who are managing funds that are attempting to just basically mirror the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, they're forced to buy it. There's many family funds and offices out there who all they do is literally just whatever's in the S&P 500, they buy that. Whatever's in the NASDAQ, they buy that. They're basically just copying these major indices. And obviously, the more popular the index, the more people copying it. So when it gets announced that something like Walmart's going to get put into the NASDAQ, well, everyone running their own fund that's mimicking the NASDAQ, they're literally forced to go buy that one and sell the other ones that are getting kicked out. But I want to remind you, this is like a very nuanced thing, but it's also really important. A lot of people think that the NASDAQ is tech. And yes, there are tech plays in it, but the NASDAQ is actually better described as the leading plays in the S&P 500, excluding finance. The NASDAQ is better defined as lack of financial plays than it is tech plays, if that makes sense. If you look at what's going on in the NASDAQ, yes, there are a lot of tech plays, but there's other plays, such as Walmart, that it wouldn't really make sense. You're like, well, that's not a tech play. And it's because the definition of the NASDAQ 100 isn't exclusively tech. It's, once again, better defined as lack of financial plays. So when we talk about XLF, let me bring this up for you. This is the S&P 500 heat map right here. I think it takes about like 10 minutes to load. But there's this entire financial sector down here. Basically, the NASDAQ is the biggest blocks you can see in other places, excluding the bottom left quadrant. That's like a better way to think about all this. The NASDAQ is the biggest blocks you can see in the S&P 500 minus this financial. It just doesn't consider this at all. Better way to think about the situation. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of rules and nuances to the whole thing, but in a general sense, just to get a proper framework of it, that's how you should look at it. All right, so we're waiting for the market to open. I should show you the options flow. Yesterday, we saw that it was basically just getting hit all day, and I don't know why I was going long fighting the trend. Someone on Twitter rightfully pointed out that I had a bullish bias at the start of the day, and I was unwilling to give that up, and you are 100% correct. I very much just did not have a good trading session yesterday. I got lucky. but luck is not skill. And I suppose if it comes to the world of trading, if you had to pick luck or skill, it's probably better to pick luck. And I guess luck was on my side yesterday. I must have done something right for Lady Luck, but you can only be lucky for so long. If you continually make bad decisions, you're eventually going to get completely clocked. So Bitcoin's having a good day. Gold is getting sold off. I suppose, what do you guys want on the charts right now as we're waiting for this 10 a.m. announcement? What are you guys waiting for? Waiting for the market to open? The market's been open for 10 minutes, brother. The market has been open, so you might want to fast forward the stream or something. Someone asked, are we waiting for the market to open? Regular trading hours started 10 minutes ago. You are behind the ball, my friend. And out of the gate, the Mag 7 is getting sold. A lot of the call skew got hit yesterday, and the put skew definitely started to pick up. Interesting. Remember, big old hedge wall right here, trying to break out of 40, 45, and then we have 55. Is that 40 or 45? 40, 45. Okay, that switched a little bit. But major support at 25. This is kind of what I'm first watching. A lot of positive gamma right there. More specifically, it is a bunch of sold puts. It is 2.1 thousand sold puts, which is an 89 percentile type of play. 89 percentile, as in only 11% of the time do we see plays larger than that. So it's not the biggest we've ever seen. Nothing to run home and tell mom about, but it's noteworthy. Something to pay attention to. Oh, a little bit of an alert here. SPY starting to drift up. We sold off. We popped. We pulled back. Potential higher low. We're seeing a little bit of life there. Is that properly being reflected in price? No, it is not. We did get the upside gap fill in the 4th minute of the trading session today. Right here, this green bar, we did successfully hit the low of yesterday. We opened up below it. That means we have an upside gap fill. This is a very popular common trade. So if you took it, congrats to you. Very solid scalp trade. And now we're testing support. So we got the upside gap fill, clean up the chart, and now we're testing a very key area. Now, will this key area produce buyers, produce sellers? I have no clue. I could tell you there's a shitload of buyers coming in on the NASDAQ, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to get overwhelmed by sellers. But you can see right here, actually, they're getting tested in real time, as you can see. They're really getting tested. And then there's another batch of buyers about 15 points below. Sorry, that took a little bit to load. But yeah, we had aggressive selling. We hit this wall of buyers. We hit the wall of buyers again, and we're now cutting our way through it. Let me move myself over here so you can see it a bit better. So we took out these buyers at 650, and we're heading towards these buyers at 35. There are some at 41, but let's watch these guys at 35 and see what happens. If you're just joining in right now, I have not made any trades today. I refuse to make any trades until we find out what's going on with the Supreme Court. I have never, and I don't think many traders have traded through a situation where the Supreme Court is deeming tariffs to either be legal or illegal. So I have no other data or experiences to base what the market commonly does do or doesn't do. So because I'm a little bit out of my depth on this one, it feels like the most shrewd move is to literally just wait. And as you saw, a bunch of sellers just came in at 66. Once again, this is on the NQ contract. So this is probably most appropriate for people who are, ooh, wow, we already took out that overnight session. Wow, we are getting goosed here. We're getting goosed. We already took out the overnight session low. So I wonder if it's going to come back to it. Maybe people, I don't know, maybe there's a leak, maybe there's not a leak, but you can see this is getting pretty beat up. So this box is the overnight trading session high and low. I love to track it. I love to see the 50% retracement. There's a lot of reactions commonly at those levels, but honestly, it only took to minute 2 for us to crack it. Then buyer stepped in, and then we sold right to it. Look at flat, 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 and then boom, minute 11 in the day, we just got hit. If I was a person who didn't know the Supreme Court was talking at 11, I actually would have loved this breakdown right here, 941. That 940, 941 would have been not an A+, maybe a B+ trade setup for me. Not the biggest fan of the time of the day, but it's also not my least favorite, but it is with momentum. Bearish, 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 breaking down over there. Bearish, 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 bearish. So looking at momentum, great. Looking at options flow, well, it's in alignment with options flow. So that one, like I said, I mean, it's not my favorite right now because of what's going on with the Supreme Court, but that was a legit breakdown trade. You could have been in somewhere between, I don't know, let's just call it 80 and 700, risking 725. So depending on your entry, obviously your risk reward changes. But look at, even if you were in at the most extreme at 80, you're already up 40 points. You had the chance to get out for 60 points. That's a solid trade right there. This breakdown bar, somewhere between 40 and 41, the 10-minute orbital breakdown, not really honoring the overnight session low. Your risk was not that bad. That's probably, actually, I said it's a B+ setup. That actually might have been an A- setup. The only thing I don't really like about it today specifically, or why I didn't take it, is because the Supreme Court decision is at 10 a.m. And I basically told the Discord that I'm not trading until we have those results. But yeah, I actually really wish I took that trade. I do. Did any of you take that breakdown trade right here at 940, 941? Did any of you go short into that? Just because I didn't do it doesn't mean you didn't have to do it. But did you guys? I assume I'm gonna now get, I don't know why I'm asking this because I'm just gonna get jealous, but I bet there's people in here who already made their money on the day and are now already done. They worked for 16 minutes today and they are going on. Supreme Court at 10 or 11, you said both. Nope, I've said 10 a.m. the entire day. I've said 10 a.m. the entire day. Curious Camel is short. I took it. Fuck shorts. It's cold. I did 60% on options, SPX. I made an easy 6K. Hell yeah. Bro, I will screen record you 5 minutes ago. Say 11. Hey, if that's how you want to best spend your time today, have at it. Printed from the VWAP short. Printed from the VWAP short. Back here. Oh, you took the VWAP rejection. Oh, okay. So you waited for the pump all the way up and then probably on this breakdown here at 35.36. So you're short at 773. Your risk was probably 790, maybe 800, 805, and then it ripped down in your favor. That's a nice trade. I kind of like the short in here at 39, and I like the short in here at 41. You could even see it on the 1 minute, this pop up here. Once again, 37 was strong, and somewhere in here between like 40 and 42 was also strong, depending on like what time frame you like to use. But just because I have VWAP up on this chart, I think, yeah, that was a nice VWAP. Like kiss, you wait, seems to start to break down. That's a beautiful trade. No, seriously. Matt, that's an amazing trade. At this point, you probably should have collected some of your profits. And if you have multiple, just now your other ones are either trailing or you're set to break even. And you're just seeing how it goes today. You're just seeing how it goes today. That's a great trade. Seriously, massive congrats. With respect to flow, Mag 7 is getting beat up. S&P 500 is getting beat up. We are once again testing this key level of 25. Why is it a key level? It is the biggest positive gamma node on the chart. Nope, there's a new one down at 850. Folks, I might have to scroll out, but we do have it marked out right here, 850. That would be my reach bearish target of the day. Once again, 6,850 is actually now the largest positive gamma within proximity. It's a lot of positive gamma. I don't think we're going to go much below that if we do get there today. There's a put wall at 6,900. It's a psychological level. Spot gamma employed 1 day move low is just below it, probably closer to like 6,890 or 95 or something like that. But 25 is a big one, so let's see who wins this battle. And if the Bears end up winning this battle, yep, you have to kind of chop through all this positive gamma, but the next apparent one is down here at 850. 850. Gold's getting hit, Bitcoin's popping, AMD, Google, Nvidia, Meta, Apple, Tesla, Microsoft. Nothing is going today. Just Bitcoin. Walmart's even red. Everything. Netflix getting destroyed. Hood, SoFi, DJT. MSTR is up because Bitcoin's up. Obviously, those are going to be pretty highly correlated plays. So if you are a person who's been riding MSTR for a while, congrats to you. You're finally getting a little bit of a breather. I know for months it's been a painful one. But here we are. A little bit of a pop, a little bit of a failure here. A little bit of a pop, a little bit of a failure. Yeah, momentum is still evidently bearish. At this moment in time, on a 0 DTE basis, I would not be looking for any bullish plays until I see momentum shift, not only in price action, but also in options flow. But for right now, once again, on a 0 DTE perspective, I mean, like, what's going on that you'd be bullish? The first play I would see where I'm like, okay, yeah, I could kind of see being bullish is if we revert off of 6,900. But I wouldn't be doing it now because there still might be 20 points of downside. So it's similar to yesterday when we bounced off of, what was it, 950 or something, whatever it was. I think it was 950. Yeah, that was a reasonable shot. But for right now, I would say maybe just from a psychology standpoint, you have dip buyers in right there. But at this moment in time, based on options flow getting destroyed, based on momentum getting destroyed, the bears are currently in control. My first shot, like if for some reason I wanted to catch a falling knife, my first attempt to catch a falling knife would not be now. It would be closer to 6,900 just because it is that key psychological level. So I just want to put that out there. Of course, that's not the end-all, be-all analysis of the market. Maybe you see something going on that you like or don't like. I'm just letting you know how I see the market. And whatever you choose to do, please, 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 just keep your risk in check. Did you see Bitcoin has a 50% chance of hitting 1 million before GTA 6 release, according to Polymarket? Interesting. I did not see that at all. I'm long on XRP. I think XRP is one of the most evident scams of all time, and the fact that people are falling for it, it reminds me a lot of the AMC and GME days where there's a lot of people who don't know fuck all about the market. They read one or two headlines and they just get gassed up by other people who got in before them and have a lower price, and they're the suckers. It's almost like a picture perfect replica of what we saw in AMC and GME. I think XRP is a phenomenal trade. It has a lot of range. It has a lot of volatility. I think there's times to be long. I think there's times to be short. I think there's times to actively trade it, but to invest in it, I think you are like egregiously getting duped. XRP is a scam, and I agree. I just trade it daily on futures. I'm cool with that. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that are great active trades and you just have no business investing in it. And like the other way around, I think there's things that are, it's boring to actively trade it, but it's a great long-term investment. Just because things are one or the other doesn't mean they're automatically the other one. Just because something's a great investment doesn't mean it's a great active trade. Just because something's a great active trade doesn't mean it's a great long-term investment. XRP has bullish gamma. There's no such thing as bullish gamma. Texas should be put on a menu and we pay the ones we want to support. What are you talking about? When is the Supreme Court ruling on tariffs coming? In 7 minutes. Speaking of AMC, Trey had a new amusing video. I'm aware. I saw it. I don't want to spend too much time talking on it because, dude, this guy's just documenting, like he's having clearly a mental episode. He's going through a mental episode, probably months and years of realizing how he completely fucked up his life. He fucked up the lives of others because of just a mixture of stupidity and not understanding the market, and also just lying and stealing. He intentionally put out lies, and he caused a lot of harm, like financial harm. And because he was the it boy of the community, people wanted to believe him. And then there was people like me trying to spread the truth. And because I wasn't saying what the approved script was, I was the nemesis. I was the villain. And even though it turns out I was right the entire time, he is now accepting it. But like the dude, he fumbled a far better life, and I feel bad for him, and because like he fucked up his entire life, and now it's getting to the point where he just is like clearly having a mental episode, like clearly without a doubt having a mental spiral, a mental break, and he could dress it up however he wants. But I don't know, as much as I think he's a dipshit, I still feel for him that like he is probably going through like an incredibly difficult time, like an incredibly difficult time. It's a legitimate mental breakdown. And in this day and age in social media, especially when you've had a content career before, there's like a pressure to, I guess, share that with the world that you're having a fucking mental breakdown for some reason. And I guess call me like old school or something, but I think some things are better left private. But that's my 2 cents on it. That's my 2 cents on it. Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish, and motherfuckers act like they forget about Trey. What? What are you even trying to say, dude? You're the one who, I have a feeling that your comment is doing exactly what you're accusing other people doing. You just said a lot of things that like kind of make no sense. He was an AMC and GME guy from back in the day. Well, he wasn't GME at all. He was AMC, and AMC worked as an active trade, but people thought it was an investment that if you just held forever, it's M&M. Oh, I'm fucking stupid. That's on me. But no, wait. Actually, is it on me? Wait, what? Once again, what does that have to do with this situation? It's stupid from me that I didn't know those lyrics. My apologies. I was reading as a comment. My mind was not in the mode of thinking that it was lyrics. But sorry. But still, once again, how does that have to do with what we're talking about? Well, still, like, once again, like, it's on me for not knowing that. I give that to you. Like, I give that to you. But still, what? I think it's still a valid question. Matt got no rap skills. Dude, I don't have any singing or rapping ability whatsoever. If there were a human that were the closest to zero possible for singing ability, it would be me. Like, if we had all 8 billion people on this planet, I would somehow be below people who are mute. Like, literally, if you lined up all 8 billion people in order of singing ability, I would be below the mute people. I don't know how. I don't get it. And it's actually a really weird thing for me, because I actually think being a musician is probably the coolest job of all time. So it's funny. I am in a particular world where I fully admit it is my worst ability. Like, I think the thing in the world that I'd be number one at is being the worst singer. Like, that's where I am at. But I guess it is what it is. It's a brutal trick that has been played on me by the fact that I think it's the coolest job, but I can't do it at all. What's your prediction if you rate this ruin to tariffs on the crypto market? I think it's fucking pointless to predict. Like, we're literally about to watch it. We're literally about to watch it. Like, as I've always pitched to you guys, why are you wasting your time trying to predict? Why in the world are you wasting your time trying to predict? It is a fool's errand. All right, 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. All right, hopefully they bring on our boy Rick Santilli, but we are about to find out. I have up the 15-second chart on the SPY. Going into this, the SPY is down $4.8. It's down 0.7%. Options flow has been looking horrible. We're about to find out, folks. We're about to find out. All right. What's your best guess? You have 20 seconds. Bullish, bearish, or scared? Bullish, bearish, or scared?
Wednesday morning, welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Sarah Eisen with Carl Quintanilla and David Faber, live as always from
10
Post
seconds.
Stock Exchange. We're beginning here with breaking news this hour.
5 seconds.
As we await a potential Supreme Court decision
2 seconds.
on President Trump's tariffs, which could come this hour.
Oh, downzo.
With a look at what to expect.
Ow.
We wait whether we'll get that
Ow.
Yeah, Sarah, we don't know whether we're going to get that decision.
I don't even think it's out yet. I think this is just the market doing market things.
Decisions this morning, so we are going to get some decisions from the Supreme Court.
So we got
just
knocked,
don't know which ones.
bouncing back
at the top of the hour at 10 a.m., but this could trickle out over a couple of minutes as we see those decisions being issued by the Supreme Court. So we're going to watch and wait here. But at stake is the president's, more or less the president's entire tariff agenda. This is, remember, just the IEEPA tariffs. That's the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. And at stake is about $133 billion worth of tariffs that the president and the administration collected during the course of this past year. Does the Supreme Court say those tariffs were collected unconstitutionally, and therefore does the administration have to reimburse that money to the companies that paid? That's what's on the line here. Or could we get some sort of more muddled Supreme Court decision, which is a lower threshold than invalidating the entire thing and in forcing the administration to pay back the money? We just don't know as we sit here. So we're going to watch. This is exciting stuff. This is live TV breaking news without a safety net, and we'll see what we get.
Without a
Amy,
safety net.
we will get back to you as soon as you know something. Let's get some economic data.
All right, we took a hit. This is all anticipation. The market, it's not released yet.
Yes, David.
I'm watching all of my news sources.
Fourth quarter number expected up 0.1%. Comes out.
Here's our boy Rick.
And last month
Rick's in
also
chat.
Joins the up 0.3 club, a revision from up 0.2. So back-to-back 0.3 for November and October, and they're
getting
tied for the
awfully
second
close to
highest
6,900.
builds on business inventories of 2025. The high was up 0.4 in January of 2025. Of course, the more widgets you make on the inventory side, the more you contribute to GDP. And GDP for the fourth quarter is already expected to be rather large. We also have existing home sales for December, and for that, we aim east to Diana Olick. Diana?
Well, Rick, existing home sales in December rose 5.1% from November to a seasonally
All right, we chopped through 25. We're coming up to the psychological level of 6,900. The next big gamma support is all the way down at 6,850.
Now, this
We're watching to see if we have buyers right here.
Signed in October and November when the average rate on the 30-year fixed mortgage
market is just waiting right now. The Supreme Court decision has not come out yet. As they alluded to, it might just take a little bit of time as
inventory
I guess
was the
it gets
big
published.
headline. 1.18 million units available for sale at the end of December, down 18% from November, still up 3.5% year over year. With stronger sales, though,
I'm watching all of my news sources. We're just waiting.
Supply, which is considered quite lean. That kept prices in the positive, just barely. $405,400 was the median sale price, up 0.4% annually.
The
that
market
is down
is
from
getting
a 1.2% annual gain
shamak.
in November. Sales continue to be more robust on the highest end
We're
of the
waiting.
market, and homes are staying on the market
This was
longer,
a beautiful
39
trade,
days on
short
average
at
versus
941.
35 days a year ago.
Beautiful
we do
trade.
not have any data on first-time buyers, investors, and all cash, as the realtors are now waiting until the end of the month to report that. Sarah?
Okay, Diana, thank you very much. We also got a report card on the economy from a lot of the big banks, which reported earnings today. So we tried to put together
The financial
a list of
reports
what
were
we're
not good.
hearing from the executives at the big banks as it relates to the strength of the U.S. economy. Wells Fargo CFO Michael Santomassimo, who we'll talk to at the end of next hour. Here's what he said on a media call, which I thought was quite bullish. When you look at both the consumer and small business banking activity,
there's going to be a move here. We're just waiting for the info to come out. If you're just joining right now, Supreme Court,
has all
we're
been
just
quite
waiting.
good so far, and I think there's no reason to think it won't continue.
We're just waiting.
So that's a healthy remark on the state of the economy. Bank of America's Brian Moynihan also sounding pretty optimistic, with consumers and businesses proving resilient, he says, as well as the regulatory environment and tax and trade policies coming into sharper focus. We expect further economic growth in the year ahead. While any number of risks continue, we are bullish on the U.S. economy in 2026. He's been bullish for a while now, I would say, and has actually been consistently proven right. You know, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, who has before warned of storm clouds and sounded a little more bearish, even sounded good about the economy yesterday as well. He said, when you're guessing what the macroeconomic environment is going to do, if you ask me, in the short run, call it 6 months and 9 months, and even a year, it's pretty positive. Consumers have money, there's still jobs, even though it's weakening a little bit. There's still a lot of stimulus coming from the One Big Beautiful Bill. Deregulation is a plus in general, not just for banks, but banks will be able to redeploy capital. Guys, I sum it up because don't necessarily judge the banks by what their share prices are doing in reaction to earnings, and don't judge the economy that way, because it was resoundingly pretty bullish from all these CEOs as far as what they're seeing from the consumer and the credit environment.
Well, if the shares were higher, I think we would say it's a reflection of the economy and their business.
Right, I'm just saying, but they're all lower, so that doesn't mean like they're seeing a turn negative in the economy or anything like that. It means that the stocks really ran up and investors are nitpicking some of these results. But the tone, which is so important, and what they're saying on the economy and on the consumer, there's nothing to pick apart there. Nobody's talking about a turn for the worse.
Combination of deregulation and what is believed to be
a little
fairly
pop
strong
going on right here.
Capital markets and M&A environment had sent the shares up obviously very strongly last year for the biggest cap stocks. And then they had started the year on a very strong note the first few trading days. They were
still awkwardly waiting, folks. I'm watching all the news sources I can find.
For the year, other than
nothing's coming out
Goldman
yet.
And Morgan, both of which have yet to report.
Patience. And you throw in Delta, you could say that all the major earnings prints of the week so far are red.
Flows recovering a little bit
after their report. Delta was interesting because profit was good, but it was all front of the cabin, main cabin revenue, or back, but behind first class was down 7.
Yeah, K-shaped economy. I know, but I guess what I'm
dude, come on, Supreme Court, do your job.
They're not playing up the weakness in the labor market, for instance.
Oh,
the fact that we haven't seen as much hiring. Jamie Dimon alluded to it, but nobody's talking about any big turn in the credit cycle or in the economic cycle. I think it says more about the bar's higher now.
Hold the
line. The stock market has done so well, and it's come into a year at a more expensive place, and a lot of people are feeling good about the economic growth outlook already of 2026.
Yeah, although B of A does say letting headcount drift down
through
attrition. That's going to be a story that we'll watch regarding a bank.
Meaning they let people,
nothing yet. I think we're going to know. The market's going to tell us first. So this was anticipation. We've recovered. We're waiting.
All of this, including the Fed and the macroeconomy. Loretta, it's great to have you. Good morning.
Thanks for having me on. Good
Bitcoin's
to see you.
looking
You too.
phenomenal.
Can we start with tariffs and the Supreme Court and how you're thinking about, let's say we do get some kind of reversal on this IEEPA policy. Is that a liability for things like the deficit?
Well,
we're turning back lower.
I think the president and his administration have laid out other ways that they
not
can
a bad short right here, in my opinion.
Tariffs.
I'm not taking it, but risk reward, not bad.
We haven't seen the announcement yet whether they're going to be required to repay some of those tariffs, because there could be a compromise decision on the courts. I think we can't tell so far, but I suspect there'll be other ways they can keep the tariffs on, because we know President Trump is very focused on wanting to have those tariffs stay in place.
So do you agree that
if they are required to repay, then that does to the deficit.
We're waiting.
Perhaps over time.
Supreme Court should be any moment now.
To the deficit. So another thing that is not good for the fiscal sustainability of the U.S.
Any economic impact of this decision, or no? Because they're just going to replace, if they lose this, they'll replace the tariffs with other tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be able to find a way to keep many of those tariffs that they put on the U.S. So I don't anticipate there'll be a big change.
What do you think? What's your thinking around what the Fed's going to do this year? It was interesting that we got the CPI report yesterday, which was better. PPI kind of in line
we're just
today.
waiting.
It didn't really move the needle on the thinking around Fed policy, that they're going to pause in January. It looks like the market's now pricing pause in March, but still expecting 2 cuts this year, just waiting for after Powell's gone as chair.
A little bit of a bounce here off 900, technically 902.
On how the economy is evolving, we can't
Momentum is clearly down.
Even the Fed has priced or had in their forecast some rate cuts this year. I think, this is a good time for the Fed to pause. The economy seems to be doing well. There's good reasons to think that fiscal policies will buoy the economy in the first half of the year. Labor markets, they're softening, but they're in this sort of uneasy kind of stasis with low firing, low hiring, and so that's sort of stable. And the inflation data, hard to read some of those reports because they're still being influenced by the government shutdown. But it doesn't really appear that inflation
Someone said it appears it's being delayed again, but I'm not seeing a major news source say that.
But it certainly is still well above the Fed's target. So they're in a good spot. They've cut 3 times. Cutting into an economy that looks like it's strengthening with inflation still high doesn't seem to be the proper course for policies, and policy's already in a pretty good place to sort of take a pause and look at see how the economy is evolving.
Waiting.
So I don't anticipate that there's a good case for cutting again in January. And then we'll have to see in March if the evidence
Mag
comes
7
in and
flow
shows
still
that
pretty
the labor
brutal,
market's
going
deteriorating
flat
further
now.
than they
S&P
perhaps
500
will.
flow pretty brutal, picking up a little bit since 10:03. We're just awkwardly waiting, folks.
They're hoping it comes down. I'm hoping it comes down, but if it looks like it's stable, then I don't see a case for cutting.
Some people
it
are
in March
saying it's
either,
being delayed, but I'm not seeing it being
if you're right,
confirmed.
Loretta, does that antagonize
The last time
White
it was
House in
delayed,
ways
we
that
did
haven't
see a
seen
pop.
yet?
Well,
But
we already
I have
know
that's
the
one
White
data
House
point.
is antagonized. I mean, this has been going on for more than a year. Granted, the Justice Department subpoenas was a big escalation in that. I think Jay Powell did the proper thing by making that public on Sunday night before the markets opened so that everyone knew what was happening. And then, the rally behind Jay from many different parts. Right, Republicans, some Democrats, ex-central bankers, both here, sitting central bankers abroad, former Treasury secretaries. I think that has sort of quelled this a little bit, but I don't anticipate this being the last that we'll hear from the White House wanting to influence Fed policy and to
a little bit of a pop in price, but going sideways recently.
Decisions. And, even if the Fed continues to do the good work it's doing, which is always focusing on making policy based on economics, financial developments.
Oh, pop. What's the news? Something's out. Something's going down.
These constant attacks
Something happened.
The institution.
What is it?
And put into people's
Give me the news. What is it?
Making policy appropriately.
What is the news? I'm not seeing anything.
I think that undermines the credibility of the institution.
No tariff ruling today?
How easy it is
it
to
official?
Get back to price stability,
Supreme Court doesn't rule on Trump's tariff Wednesday. Once again, no rulings today. It is official. Similar to last week when it got punted, market popped. That's what's going on. That's this pop right now. It is getting delayed. Supreme Court doesn't rule on Trump's tariffs on today, Wednesday. No ruling. Attention, gamblers on the casino floor. We have some breaking news. The anticipated Supreme Court ruling on the legality of Trump's tariffs is once again delayed. Similar to the previous delay, the market popped in response. Please stay tuned. It is delayed. No ruling.
And maximum employment and pushing aside this political influence.
All right, we're popping.
But that could change depending on how and what happens.
Mag 7 waking up a little bit. S&P 500 very much waking up. We are back to this key level of 25. Right back to this mega gamma level.
Right, I appreciate it very much. Important topic on
right
a busy
here.
day. We'll talk soon.
We're back to battling this out.
Loretta Messer.
If it keeps going, watch 55.
On this SCOTUS decision day. Eamon?
Carl, once again, we are not getting the tariff decision from the Supreme Court. They've issued a number of decisions this morning. But now they're wrapped for the day in terms of the decisions, and we know that we're not going to get that tariff decision at this point. So we continue to watch and wait.
Ain't happening, honey.
We might see this decision from the Supreme Court. Obviously, there's a lot of interest in this in Washington and around the country and around the world as everybody watches to see what the president's tariff regimen is going to be in 2026. Couple of options here, Carl. You guys we're just talking about, could the White House replace the tariffs that were struck down, if they are struck down, with something else? Just thinking through what might happen in that scenario, the administration has said they're determined to make sure that they can continue to collect this money. So what they could do, depending on how the court rules, one is they could switch it over to some sort of licensing fee arrangement, if that's allowed by the court. And we have another number of other options under the law that the president could use. He could use Section 338, which allows for tariffs of up to 50%. He could use Section 232, which allows for sector-specific tariffs. He could do country-specific tariffs under Section 301. He could also do tariffs up to 15% for 150 days under Section 122. So a lot of different options here for the administration as they think about what they might do in a scenario where the Supreme Court strikes down the tariffs, which is sort of the betting option here after that Supreme Court argument in November where justices seemed pretty skeptical. That said, not skeptical enough to issue the decision today, and we will continue to sit and wait.
Not skeptical
Also, I think we should point out, Eamon, this is not all of the tariff revenue in question that has come in since April. I think there's been more than $200 billion in overall tariff revenue. What are we looking at? A little more than
watching
half
VWAP,
that would
710. I'm also watching 700.
So yeah, exactly. This is the Liberation Day tariffs. This is the so-called IEEPA tariffs only. He used those for Liberation Day and for China. But he's used these other authorities for other tariffs. So it's not the entirety of the president's tariff agenda, but it is a big chunk of it. And it's the most flexible and direct chunk of tariff authority that the president has assumed for himself here, which is he can sort of impose these tariffs at will. And we saw him do that this week with that threat to put tariffs on Iranian trading partners. That's the flexibility that he wants, and that's what might be constrained by the court if they do it.
Okay, Eamon, thank you. Eamon Jabbers, we'll do it again.
Yep,
Eamon
we will.
In Washington. Here's our roadmap for the rest of the hour. When we come back, Oakmark portfolio manager Bill Nygren is with us. His reaction to bank earnings, the tech names he likes best right now, and
watching
his biggest bets for 2026.
Plus, Elon Musk goes all in on subscription.
700 is the point of control, and it's a psychological
only
level.
Offer its full self-driving system in monthly installments.
And a bill to
And
ban
we're trying to hold
stock trading
25
gains
here.
of steam. We'll get details on that key vote this hour as the Nasdaq comes off the opening lows. Squawk on the Street is back after.
So, for the second time in a week and a half, I want to say, the Supreme Court decision is once again punted. It is delayed, and we will be patiently waiting. Patiently waiting. Similar to last week when it got delayed, the market popped. So we're going to see how this goes today. I guess technically this is our second data point, so I'm not saying that this is necessarily statistically robust, but on the two data points we have, it getting delayed, the market does take a pop. It seemingly happened. The low we found was at this key technical level, psychological level, and options level of 6,900. And where did we get back to? Well, we got right back to another key technical, psychological, and options level of 25. Here is the bull case at this moment in time. If we hold 6925, in my opinion, then we have a pretty easy ride up to 55. This is negative gamma. Negative gamma is that slippery price action, but obviously that's on the consideration that we hold this level. We might not hold it. So the bull case, first target that I would have is somewhere between 50 and 55. If for some reason this fails and the bears start pushing it lower, I'd be looking for a reversion back to the intraday low, which is once again that key level of 6,900. So I'm kind of watching this for a pivot point. I do like that the 1 minute finally went from a bearish trend to a bullish trend, but I don't know if it's going to hold. You have to pay attention to it, and obviously you want to do it with a reasonable risk to reward. So I'm watching this as closely as I can. If it holds, I'm looking for 40. And then from somewhere to 50 to 55, I'm watching 40 just because that's pretty much the low from yesterday and it's the peak of today. But my real target would be an overshot into this area. Once again, that's the bull case. If this fails and we start to take out some of these recent wick lows, I'd then be looking for 6,900. Right now, my bias does favor the bull case on a 0 DTE basis because of last time we saw this, the market did pop. And I'm also looking at the new recovery in the world of options trading. Pretty much every ever since 10, I'm seeing that recovery. I'd be a little bit more comfortable if the 5-minute and the 10-minute go green. I'd be a little bit more comfortable if the 5-minute and the 10-minute go green. So that would be the takeout of like 730, 770. So the momentum, because of the overnight session and what happened this morning, is still negative. But in the shorter time frame, I'm talking about the 1 minute and also looking at the options flow, I'm seeing an attempted fix. Once again, attempted. So it's not exactly catching a falling knife, but it's not far away from it. I also want to put on your radar that QQQ, the ETF tracking the NASDAQ 100, does still have an upside gap fill. Technically, we did not hit it today. Yesterday, QQQ had a low of 623.70. Thus far today, our high was 623.45. So you have about 25 cents there on top of the intraday high. So if things actually get going today, that could be a reasonable level to pay attention to. But you could see ever since this like kind of enthusiastic FOMO pop, we've just been kind of going sideways. So we have to wait to see which way this trends. Are we going to get out of this sideways movement to the upside, or are we just going to be putting in a higher low? Time will tell. All right. I'm trying to be better with my MAE on the small accounts. Remember, unlike yesterday, I'm trying to trade my small and my big accounts separately. And I messed that up yesterday. So I have automatic stops put in at my MAE violation right before it, so I don't violate that rule on Apex. And remember, it's not that much of a punishment, because like if you want the position anyway, you just quickly re-enter it. The whole name of the game is literally just to not let yourself have that unrealized drawdown. So you just have to make it realized, and then you could quickly enter it again if you still like the position. So I'm trading this time around a little bit separately, just so I don't keep getting messed up by the MAE rules, the max adverse excursion rules that I see playing out in the world. Oh, that's a nice dip. Hang on. Hold horses. Hold. If you have a horse, hold it. If you have a horse, please hold it. Shame on me. I'm missing our tunes here, folks, today. I'm missing our tunes. What do we want today? New songs. Sorry, volume's way too low. There we go. All right. Still pressing by, more portfolio moving like it got a passport. My projects, numbers doing bad flips, red day, I don't see it, that's a bad gift. Broken calling like you good, yeah, relax, bitch. I've been Is that the higher low?
Order filled. Order submitted. If it doubles, that's divine intervention. Robin Hood sweating when I log in. Account looking like a fucking heart monitor. Green, red, order submitted.
All right, just managing my risk. Just moving things up a little bit as I see this potential higher low. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. What other songs do we have on here? Still going up. Fat Kohrs had a good song yesterday. Oh, here we go. This is the song we need to pump things higher. All right, let me do my job. Mag 7 got hit, popped a little bit, currently going flat. A little bit of a curl to the upside. S&P 500 got hit, big pop going flat, waiting to see if it does continue higher or not. With respect to the S&P 500, we're still in that dangerous zone. Are we holding 25? Are we not holding 25? Obviously, your guess is as good as mine. I could just tell you that this is a pretty serious battle. I would love if it can actually hold and just pop out of here, but we've just reverted to the EMA. We've reverted to equilibrium, so we're kind of stuck in neutral. So the question is, which way do we go from here? taking a little bit of a hit right now as SPX is taking a little bit of a hit. I'm seeing some call selling and a little bit of put buying, dropping the delta. Is it going to hold? Is it going to hold? The delta's getting unwound a tiny bit. A tiny bit here. Let's see. Let's see. Come on, where are these dip buyers? How's the Mag 7 looking? Mag 7's flat. How's the NASDAQ looking? It's also flat. Not really seeing who either does or does not want to continue this trend. I think one of my stops might get hit if this persists a little bit more. If it bounces right here, I'm golden. But I'm trying to be as... unlike yesterday where I was a little loosey-goosey with my risk, I'm trying to do the exact opposite today and be like really, really conservative. So please do not be surprised if you see me taking a lot of break-even trades today. I'm just trying to get back on the risk management horse, if you will. The old risk management horse. Obviously, that would be a nice technical recovery if we could take that high out. This would be a nice technical recovery. Definitely pay attention to these levels, these recent swing highs, because right now we might just be putting in a higher low. That's possible. Obviously, time will tell. But the initial structure today was lower highs, lower lows. We popped. We took out these recent highs. The question is, how deep is this low going to be? That is the question. And right now, the market seemingly has no fucking clue about what it wants to do. Seemingly has no clue about what it wants to do. Just at that equilibrium. Are buyers coming in or not? We might be able to get an idea off of Bookmap. Got a pop there right at the new point of control. 650 is the new point of control. And we're just obviously trading quite a bit there. Big battle to be decided. Big battle to be decided. Who's gonna win it? If we get back above 70, I would be happy. I see buyers here at 40. All right, a little pip pop up to 67. Like I said, if we sit above 70, good. 80 better. 90 gets exciting. 60 good, or excuse me, 70 good, 80 better, 90. I think we're going to be testing VWAP. All right, buyers are stepping in at, instead of 40, they moved it up to 62. I see some sellers there for a second at 81. Once again, this is for the NQ contract. So for those of you probably doing SIMDA funded, remember Apex, this is the final day, I believe. Use that code Goonie. Use that code Goonie if you want whatever the best deal is. All right, let's go right back down to 50, unfortunately. Where's the lo-fi? I think maybe the lyrics. Let me find the lo-fi. All right, here we go. There's the lo-fi. Now we can all be calm. Now we could all be calm, cool, collected. All right, we are in the purgatory of going sideways. Which fucking way is it going to break? 700 on NQ seems to be incredibly important. 700 seems to be incredibly important. Are there a lot of sellers up there? I'm curious. Yeah, 700 has a lot of sellers. Okay. And then VWAP is a little bit above that. I'm not saying that it's close, but I was just curious if people were lining up there. And there are very much people lining up there. We are going through the point of control. All right, my stop got out once again. I just didn't want to violate MAE. I could always re-enter right away if I so choose. Not really a big deal, but let me see how I want to do this.
Order canceled.
All right, pulling my target order because there's no point if we're breaking down. Like I said, the name of the game for me today is risk management. Do I just want to completely kill this? I guess so. Yeah. All right.
Order
I'm going to go
filled.
completely flat just until I can figure out what's going on. So just took a hit there, a reasonable hit. Like I said, not doing anything too completely fucking stupid. But let's see. Got some bad slippage, unfortunately, but sometimes that happens. NASDAQ did take a hit there. The Mag 7 starting to go to the south side and see the SPY delta not holding. It's not holding 25. If this doesn't start to bounce quickly, I would say we're revisiting 6,900. And from there, then we have to reevaluate whatever the new trend either is or isn't. From there, we have to reevaluate what the new trend either is or isn't. So I'm actually happy I got out. I gave it a reasonable shot at going long. It just didn't keep trending up. I thought it was going to be a VWAP retest, which we've seen countless times. Today is one of those days where it was just about 15 points shy. We never got the retest, and sometimes that happens. Like, you can't cry about it. Like, that's literally just what trading is. So not worried about it. What's the promo code for Apex? Right here, 80% off evals with code Goonie. We have 1 day left right there, 1 day, and I guess an extra session, but code Goonie, Goonie. It's in the description of the video. It's also in chat, or you could just go to the website and put in that code Goonie. Okay. How can I have good risk management today? Let me pop myself over here. Let me just check one thing. Okay, I took a reasonable hit, probably a bigger hit than I should have taken on the big accounts, but hey, that's fine. I basically I still like that I had risk management. You never know what the next bar is going to be. Like, you're not in control of making the next bar go in your favor or not, but what you are in control of is your risk management, folks. This is getting hit right here. Maybe the 1 minute was a little bit more informative at this point in the day. Yeah, see this choppiness? It just didn't hold. We had this shot, but 1023 was kind of the dagger to the situation, and I think I got out a minute or two after that. So like I said, I held on maybe a little bit too long, but overall, I don't know. I'm not going to judge myself against that. Where's NVIDIA? NVIDIA. Right there's NVIDIA. NVIDIA. Let's see. I'm curious at this point. So the point of control dropped from 700 to 650, dropped by 50 points. The VWAP's all the way up there. I'm now wondering if maybe it's going to be a retest of 600. We're currently at 25. Literally, we were just talking about 700, and now we're talking about 600. We're south of 600. That just shows you how kind of crazy and wild today is. But anyway, I'm wondering who's going to win this test. That's literally happening in front of our faces. 600. Who wins this battle? Is it going to get sold? Is it going to get bought? Who knows? Initial test got rejected for sure. Initial test got rejected. Watching this right here, 600. Here is a look at Mag 7 is getting hit. S&P 500 is getting hit, and we are coming close to that level, the 900 potential bounce.
Order filled.
What was that? We just bounced up to 615.
Order filled. Order filled.
All right, I took a 635. I need to put in my stop order. I accidentally didn't use. I was trying to use short by something.
Order submitted.
I'm trying to be good with the MAE on Apex and use ATMs and at the money order that right away puts in my risk for me that I don't violate the MAE rule. That's kind of like my new strategy because I've been getting emails recently a lot of violating this, violating that, violating the other thing. So I'm trying to be a good boy about it and use my ATMs where it has an auto setup of what my MAE is. Let's see how this goes though. All right. So let's do our analysis. Let's do our sanity check. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour bearish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour bearish. Flow, bearish, flow, bearish. The only bullish thing I see going on right now is we are coming up to this key level of 6,900. That's the only thing in my book where I'm like, all right, maybe it bounces off of that. But granted, we haven't tested it yet, so let's see. But that's the only thing I really see going on. And yes, maybe it can be a double bottom and we could start to rip off of it. But I'm literally just going off of the information we have right now in real time. Because as much as you say it could be a double bottom bounce, yeah, it could also be a breakdown vomit. You just don't know. We just don't. Oh, you can't see the futures. My bad. Sorry. Let me switch to this screen. All right, here's back to this. Sellers at 620. We just touched 580 for a second there. All right, I have an alert set to go off if we hit 6,900. I'm expecting some reaction there. Once again, that's just an expectation. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Hang on. Let me check one thing here. What's a key level we could watch? Okay, so we got down to what is that? 530. And we're trading at 95. Okay, that was this low all the way back from Tuesday the 2nd. 530. And then from there you have 500. I mean, that is not close by any means. So the intraday, 530. Oh, 3,500, 505. We'll see. We'll see what the market gods have in store for us today. Mag 7. Little pop in price, options flow still down. S&P 500, same thing, little pop in price, but options flow is still down. Oh, brother, we're right here. We're at a decision point. The SPY, we're either cracking and making that fresh low. I should probably move this all the way to here because that was this whole sell-off. And then we should also have an alert for a new intraday low just in case something happens when I'm not paying attention. All right, we're marking out some of these levels. Kind of in that awkward decision. See how like awkward decision making, decision made. Awkward decision making, decision made. We're right now in that awkward decision making. You just have to be patient. Have to be patient. Have to be patient. The question is that if it shows weakness, do I have the balls to throw on another trade here? PPI reports markets drop. What? The PPI has already been out. It's been out for over 2 hours. That's 100% already baked into price, dude. That's 100% already baked into price. Got dropped at 8:30 this morning. Sorry, I'm watching this to decide.
Order filled.
All right.
Order submitted.
I threw on another short there on my big accounts just in case this water falls down. but then I updated my risk too. And if it goes even, honestly, if we sweep this low at 1031, I'll set the line there. I'm going to move all my stops to break even. I'm going to do my best to make it a freebie play, but I'm seeing Bitcoin start to take a little bit of a hit here, and we'll find out if I'm about to get fucked or not. We'll find out. I don't know if the trend's changing. The trend slowed down. That sell-off is definitely slowing down. Definitely slowing down. 30. Is the trend switching? At least in the short term? My goal today, obviously, is to make money, but my real goal today is to make money by just like always being happy that I'm like on the right side of the trend. And that's where I feel like I kind of fucked up yesterday, is there was times that I was holding trades through short-term potential trend changes, and I was just like super iffy with it. I was like, oh, dude, like, is this going right? Is this going wrong? Like that type of a deal. And my goal today is like, even in the short term, if I feel like it's switching, just get out and move on with my life, which is, I believe, a sentiment that I like wasn't the best at having yesterday. So that's like, as a psychology goal, that's what I'm working today, which is why I keep looking over at my risk, because if I'm on the right side of EMAs, cool, I'm on the right side of EMAs. If I'm on the wrong side, though, I do actually want to bail and just get out, which it's looking a little sketchy here. Looking a little sketchy here. What are we doing? What are we doing? Is this 1 minute just kissing? Little pop. Is the pop gonna get faded though, is my question. What are we doing? Okay, should I be using that high? Would we just get to 34? I'm wondering if I should use that as my risk. I feel like the fact that I'm asking it means the definitive answer is, yeah, dummy. You should be using that as your risk. I think I'm going to use that high that we just posted as my risk.
Order submitted.
All right, once again, updating my risk. Just my goal is to be on the right side of the trend. If the trend changes, I might lose money. That happens. You never know when trend's going to change. I'm a trader who bets on the trend persisting. So my goal really is to get in when I think the trend's changing, get into it, and hopefully I could ride the trend. But sometimes you get into it and it quickly switches and you just got to get the fuck out. Like that happens, dude. It happens, it happens, it happens. Got a little lo-fi music to keep things calm so no one freaks out. We're back to 600. We're back to the game of, is 600 gonna hold or not? Options flow to keep you guys updated. Got hit, popped a little, now going flat. Mag 7 is at the low of the day. The Mag 7 is getting beat up. We just went through 600 but quickly popped right back up. You saw that little flash right there. So there were sneaky little buyers hiding just below 600 to defend it. Let's see how long it can last. Potentially, more importantly, are we just popping here? Are we going? Is this the move? I have alert set if we hit it, for sure. All right, I'm moving,
Order
updating
submitted.
my risk.
Order submitted.
Once again, updating risks as we are going down to this level. What accounts am I on? Remember, I'm handling 2 different batches of accounts, so you're going to see completely different trades based on what the fuck I'm doing here.
Order submitted.
I'm just updating. I am not going to let that do a 50-point bounce, so we'll put that stop to break even there. That would be painful. I'm not protected by 600. Come on. Patience. Calm, cool, collected. Mag 7 Delta's getting beat up. S&P 500 Delta's getting beat up. We didn't test 900 yet, but we did take out the intraday low. So we didn't test 900. We did take out the intraday low on SPY, that is, and technically SPX, I think. Yeah, but we didn't hit 900 yet. That we might just be bouncing right off of this. It's potential. And as a person who currently has a short position, that's what I'm trying to be mindful of, just in case it rips my face off. Just in case it rips my face off. Oh, what are we doing here? It is possible. Assume the worst case situation. We barely made a new low. In fact, not really a new low at all. AMD is somehow green. Interesting. Somehow green, AMD. All right, where's Bookmap? We ran into that wall. We're back to 50. Come on, let's get my first fill. Let's get my first fill there. There we go. Orders getting filled. Okay, on the smaller accounts, locking in about 773 to 800. On the bigger accounts, locking in some of these gains, moving the stop to break even, and moving this stop to there. All right, we're just doing solid risk, folks, day in and day out. Solid risk management. I've explained every trade today. I've explained exactly what I'm looking for. We're not doing anything overcomplicated. It's just we're using reasonable target levels right here. The smaller accounts, when I say smaller buffer, good thing I looked at that. I had a pending order for no reason. I messed that up before. It cost me a lot of money. So those are locked in. Once again, the smaller accounts. The bigger accounts are looking good right now. I have another target down here at 505, just in case we bounce off of 500 flat. I see people, where are they? Actually at 504. So I already arbitrarily picked that earlier, but we'll see how this one plays out. And then if this hits, I have to get rid of one of these stops because I was short 3. I locked in 1. I have another target, hopefully lock in 2. I'll leave the stop at break even on the other. And if I have a runner, I have a runner. If I have a runner, I have a runner. Solid or BS action this week. I suppose it depends on how you look at it. In my opinion, today was just trend following. Come on. We're attempting to lock in number 2. We're attempting to lock in number 2. Go for it. Go for it, brother. Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me. Come on. We're right there. Don't you do this. Don't you do this. What did that just hit? It hit 506. You dirty dog. You dirty dog. 506. Don't you toy with me. There we go. All right, we'll cancel that one. All right, so my stops at break even on the runner. I have a locked in gain of 700 plus on all accounts. And once again, I have a final runner position that is of no risk to me. The stop is break even. Bada bing, bada boom. That's how you play it, team. That is right there how you play it. I suffered a loss. I took a shot at the reversal. Let me go through it. Like, did I have a perfect trading day? No. But if your goal is to have a perfect trading day, you're going to get fucked up. No one can make every single trade. You have to take reasonable shots. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So let me explain that. Like, honestly, as this is working in my favor, right here, we puked all morning. Trend maybe reverses when it becomes apparent we might not be getting that Supreme Court decision. We pop, okay? I say I'm going to go long. I'm targeting 1 at VWAP for the VWAP retest. That's a reasonable test. It dips. I see it get saved. Great. I go long another one. Once again, I want to lock in 1 at VWAP, set the other one to break even, and it goes. As soon as it becomes apparent that I'm wrong, and this is what I didn't do yesterday, as soon as it becomes apparent that I was wrong, I get out. I did not do that yesterday. That was my goal as of today. I tried to go long. It didn't work. Fucking boo-hoo. You never know. I could show you this chart right here, and half the time it would keep going higher and it's a recovery. The other half of the time it's going to break down. I had a 50-50 shot. I kept my risk in control. As soon as it became apparent it wasn't going for me, I got the fuck out. That is the goal. Get out when you need to get out. And then in here, when it started to show weakness, as it was building up and up and up, I started to take more shorts. I could have gone another short here at 22. And then as it broke down, locked in, and now I have a runner. Like, folks, we don't need to overcomplicate it. Trade with the trend. Assume you're going to be 50-50. And when you're right, get your stop to break even and see how much you can ride it. And that's how on my small accounts, I made 800 each. And on my big accounts, I'm currently up 3K each, which I guess I could theoretically just ride this if I want to. I don't have to get out because I did make money already on the day. So since my stop's at break even, no matter what, I'm making what the realized column is. So if I wanted to, I could actually ride this all day. And I haven't done that in a while. Maybe I will. I've locked in 2. I made 700. I had a realized loss of 2K, got myself out of that, got myself net ahead. I guess I could do that if I wanted to. I guess I could look at some of this structural stuff. I mean, yeah, it could drop another 100 points. Every 100 points is another 2K for me. I could watch some of these lows. I don't know. I'm not really decided on it. And my point is it doesn't matter because my stop's at break even. Like, I'm short at 600. Whatever. This is how much I'm up. Do you still have the max gain or not anymore? No. After 5 approved payouts, there is no more consistency rule. So for me, because I now have 5 approved payouts, if I made 30K today, I'm allowed to make 30K today. How savage would that have been if I held all these contracts and didn't take any of the profits and just held it till now? That would be disgusting. I would be up 2.4K on 3 contracts. So I'd be up whatever that is, about 7.5K, just below 7.5K, technically like 7.2K, now 7.5. How fucking savage would that be? How crazy if we got to see that. So I'd be up net 5 right now, which, hey, whatever. But yeah, on Apex, I could show you Apex FAQ, FAQ consistency. Oh, right here. I believe this is what? I have to log in to read the FAQ? Seriously? Oh, here. Is it not this one? I was just reading it in the payout. No, is it this one? Payout parameters, maybe? I was just reading it somewhere. Is it in this? 5 payouts. That's the safety net. It was somewhere. I don't know, dude. They have so many FAQs that I was trying to like read through. These guidelines, 5 payouts, 100%. I don't want to waste too much time on this so we can still watch the market. But I read it somewhere in here that the 30% like windfall or the whatever it is, after your 5th approved payout for those specific accounts, it no longer impacts you. I was just reading this like 2 days ago. Multiple accounts, understand, blah, 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 separate. Okay, right here. No, wait, that's no maximum. Starting after from the 6th payout, there's no maximum payout provided the minimum balance threshold remains in. Okay, so that is no longer the 2K. That makes sense. We all know that. I'm talking about the consistency one though. Whatever. I'll find it later. I don't want to waste too much time, but yeah, I did read it like 2 days ago that if you, after your 5th payout, there's no more windfall rule. Yeah. What is the exit criteria for the runner? Well, mine is somewhat based on, hang on, let me just bring up the right charts over here. On kind of some of the rules that are being imposed by me from Apex. And at this moment in time, there's not many rules being imposed on me. So my goal is just to stick with the trend as long as I can. Like that's the goal. Like right now, if this is a real trend reversal that we're starting to see, I'm going to get out. But I should also be clear, the worst case scenario, like let's just say I walk away from the screen and I decide to not pay attention to the market today. The worst case is I'm still like just out for break even because I locked in my profits. This is a freebie trade to me. Like I don't care. Like if it works, it works. Awesome. If it doesn't work, okay, boo-hoo. But my point is I made my money already on the day right here, $700+. The runner, you never know how much a runner's going to run or not run. Yes, there is a non-zero chance this just pops right here and takes me out and I only make $750 on the day. There's also an equal chance that this just keeps going. Like obviously I'm watching these key levels and I was expecting this retest of 900. We didn't really hit this level. I was expecting of 85. So I'm still kind of looking this right here. See how we're retesting 900. I'm expecting us to get into this positive gamma. So if I can capture that without much of a bounce in the middle, great, awesome. Like I get to play it. But this idea of what is your rule for the runners? The rule for the runner is follow what the market is telling you. I'm not making some projection of, oh, I want 10 points or 30 points. No, I'm watching flow. Mag 7's getting hit. S&P 500 is trying to bounce as we are retesting 900. If this fails, I'm looking at 85. Okay, from 85, I'm seeing all this positive gamma. Maybe we stop there. But like, my point is as soon as you lock in some, I now have freebie. Like I locked in right there. So I took these shorts at 33, 33, and 38. And I locked in at 46 and 49. And those were measured levels. So I front ran key levels by 5 points. The key level was 30. I got out at 35. The key level was 500. I got out at 505. Now, I have to like better. Is this even? Yeah. To better explain this, like I could royally fuck this up today and I would still be great. Like my royal fuck up is I don't manage this at all. The trend switches. I refuse to admit it switches and whatever. I got out for break even and I still made $700+ on 25, 26, 27, no, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm currently trading on 25 accounts. So just to clarify, when you're locked in, you've made profits, and on your runners, your stop is at break even. Dude, all of the weight is off your shoulders. You could do whatever you want to do. But on my 25 accounts, I'm making $700. If it vomits, yeah, I might make more. If it doesn't vomit, all right, not making more. You're so annoying. I wish you would just show Hero and talk about the options spread. You're like an irritating girlfriend that doesn't shut up. Yeah, sorry, we're talking about risk management. Cody, how about you go fuck yourself, you fucking loser? I'm annoying by giving away free information, trading live, making money in front of everyone, calling out my trades. Yeah, I'm the annoying one, giving this all away for free. You're not the annoying one, being a little bitch boy in chat. Sorry, I'm the annoying one. Sorry why I go cry in my, $45,000. How am I going to sleep tonight, folks? Cody thinks I'm annoying for giving away the best trading information on the internet for free, but Cody has a dick so far down his mouth he can barely manage a gargle. Sorry, Cody. My apologies. I don't know how this $45,000. I don't know how I can sleep on a day making $45,000. I just don't know what I'm going to do. How can I possibly manage this? Cody's actually Megan in disguise. Jesus, dude. Some people, you know, you can lead, what's the saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make a retard say something smart. Is that the saying? I'm not really the best with idioms, but I think it's something along those lines that folks in this day day of age in the internet and streaming and whatever you do, like it really hits home with that saying. I don't get multiple accounts reasoning. Okay, well, imagine you're trading an account and you make $1,000. Now imagine if you did that on 10 accounts. You would then have $10,000. Jesus. Some people are just actually fucking helpless. Hey, Matt, I heard Nick Fuentes loves your show. You should have him on. I have a feeling that he has no clue who I am. If I really, really had to guess, I would have a feeling that he's never heard of me. But just a guess. And we're dancing around at 500. All right, let's set this up once again. Spy. We're battling out at 900. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? All right, I did move my stop to almost 30 points in the money. So instead of being at break even, 30 points, because if it gets hit, that means I made at least $1,000 on the day, which is something I enjoy doing. Sorry for the caps, but Cody is no longer with us. May he rest in poo-poo. Dude. Wouldn't it be the same if you just did that with one? I might be dumb. Let's find out, actually. Hang on. We can answer it. I'm more than happy to try to answer that for you. Okay, so hang on. I'm going to go to AI. Is 1,000 the same as 10,000? And who knows? I'm not saying AI is perfect, but it is actually saying that 1,000 is not the same. So 1 and 10,000 are not the same. 1,000 equals 1,000. 10,000 equals 10,000. 10,000 is 10 times larger than 1,000. Another way to see it is 1,000 times 10 is 10,000. 10,000 divided by 10 is 1,000. So, I mean, like I said, don't take my word for it, but according to AI, it's not the same. But I don't know. Maybe this isn't the most advanced model. Maybe it's getting something wrong. That is, it's completely possible. Completely possible. I think they don't get that you can't put all the same money in one account. Each account can only be 50K. I don't know what they're missing. I'm not them. I don't know where it is. I am not his mother. 5 minute is still bearish. 10 minute is still bearish. 30 minute is bearish. 4 hour is bearish. Bearish. 5 minute on the Nasdaq is bearish. 10 minutes bearish. 30 minutes bearish. 4 hour is bearish. Mag 7 is going flat after hitting a fresh low. S&P 500 is bouncing ever since hitting 6,900 or They try to bounce it. It's seemingly recovering up into that level, but let's see who wins this one. It's a key level. We pop, we took it out. We're getting the retest. This type of stuff at a key technical level, psychological level is so extremely common that you might as well just assume that's how it's going to go. Of course, with proper risk management. The question is, who wins this battle? Are we actually going to recover? Are we going to get it above and take above and hang out above 904? Or are call buyers who bought here at 90 going to dump? Are put buyers who missed the dump going to step in here and send it lower? You don't know. This is what you got to pay attention to. I could tell you in the short term, you have call buying into this level. You have put selling into this level. But now that we're at the key level, you got to pay attention. Well, you don't know. Like, all this is decided. Delta flow, all this stuff. These are trades in real time. This stuff right here. These are all just trades. It's in real time. As to who's going to win it, who's not going to win it, folks, your guess is as good as mine. We're seeing for WIM the trend might be showing signs of persisting, reversing, fake outs, and ideally just targeting low risk entries. S&P 500 is crashing badly. Yeah, we haven't seen these levels in over a week. It is by all definitions, this is a catastrophic crash. It's been... I haven't seen these levels since last year. How will we ever survive? People get so dramatic when it comes to the slightest movement in the market. So dramatic. It's crashing. It's crashing. You're right. We're never recovering. This is going to be the first time that the market has dipped that we've never recovered from. Capitalism is done. The market experiment is done. We might as well pack up our bags and invest in raspberries because trading fruit is going to be the way of the future. Trading fruit, it's all going to be fruit and seeds, folks. That's the real way of the future. Fruits and seeds. If you're not investing in seeds, what are you doing? To be clear, I would not be trying to collect this bounce because we might just get straight up rejected at 6,900. That sets up the test of 6,885. That sets up the taste of 6,870. And now I'm freaking out a little bit. Sorry, someone's shit talking me on Discord for calling someone a retard. Tulips, no, that works. We're pivoting back to tulips for sure. That's actually probably the highest quality investment you can find at this moment in time. Where in the world? I need to find that FAQ because I'm freaking out. Just in case. Just in case. What if I'm wrong? Does anyone know Apex FAQ? Am I like... Apex after 5 payouts. Okay, I don't think I'm completely losing my mind. After your 5th payout with Apex Trader funding, the 30% consistency rule is removed, and you transition to a standard live prop account with no different rules, no longer needing to worry about the best trading day exceeding 30% of your total risk. After the 5th payout rule removed, the 30% consistency rule is lifted. But I haven't moved to a live prop trading account. Is that an issue? I don't know if I have the consistency rule or not, because I do have 5 payouts on the same accounts. I'm a little confused. And by that, I mean I'm a lot scared. Do I need to worry about it? Well, I know my biggest individual gain ever is 4,000, which means I can go... 60 points from here. So I don't really need to worry about this issue until 440. That's where knowing the rules a bit better might come into play for me. That this horizontal teal line. Should I just move my wrist to 36? That's actually as if I just scaled out twice there. That's not a bad play. That's not a bad risk management. Maybe move it down to 41. So no matter what, making 60 points, almost 60 points. That's about 1.2K. So that's about 2K on the day. It's about 1,900 on the day. That's not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal, you know, putting the stop there. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to kick myself if it knocks me out and then it's a huge vomit day anyway, and I could have just left my stop at break even. But I do like the sound of guaranteeing myself basically 2K. That's not a... On the sim account, you still have consistency rule. Even after the fifth one, Apex drops consistency when you get to their live account. When do you officially get to their live account? P-Dot Gaming, do you know? I've never gotten to the 6th payout before, so that's why I don't know these rules, because this is, I guess, new territory for me, if you will. New territory for me. I kind of like my risk at 70 better. This might just be popping here, or it might be dropping. A runner is a runner. You know, that's a good point. I might get lucky. It might have just been rejected right there, and this could be the start of the puke to 85, and then if it gets bad, 70, and if it gets really bad, 50. 50 is a huge positive gamma node. I do want to point out right here, 50. Huge positive gamma node. But we'll see. We'll see. 5 minute is not looking good. 50. Hang tight. I think I might need to switch this up. Options. Options. Fuck. How do I want to play this today? Is it being a bit too degenerate? I'm trying to figure out what options levels I would like to sell, and what jumps out to me is 55 here, but the 55 is trading for fuck all. So it just doesn't necessarily seem like the appropriate moment in time to do that. I mean, I guess if there's any pop, I could do it, but then if there's a pop, do I even like it? But I was thinking about selling a call credit spread either at, I do like selling it at 55 because then I'm also protected by a gamma level, which is kind of what saved me yesterday. Was that I sold the put credit spread right at key gamma levels that the market reacted to even when it was being tested. So I don't want to be cute and be like, you know what, I'm not going to do 55, I'm going to do 50 because that could cause problems for me. Even this, that was 41, so you could do 45, I suppose, if your argument is, no, we're not popping back. I don't know. This might not be the right moment in time for me. We're popping here. We're popping a little bit here. The initial balance is, what is this? 530. Oops, you guys can't see squat, can you? There you go. All right, so I'm watching this IB level at 30. Well, it's just getting smacked anyway. Here's a look at options flow. SPY's trying to recover. Mag 7 is basically not. Bitcoin is looking phenomenal, folks. It is looking phenomenal. Yeah. Right now, we're in an awkward hold pattern of, are we getting above and holding above 6,900 or are we not? Is the volume to the downside diminishing? What do you mean the volume to the downside? Volume is volume. Volume is only created when a buyer and a seller simultaneously agree. What do you mean by volume to the downside? Do you just mean volume? I saw that article somewhere, but forgot how their requirements are. I think on TBT, when is you define and then make 10K? Yeah. So on TBT, it's actually really well defined and it just kind of happens automatically. What is the VWAP indicator you are using on Ninja? It is literally called VWAP. If you just search Ninja Trader 8 VWAP indicator, it'll be like one of the first Google searches. Matt, why are we not trading silver and gold? Why do people care so much about Magnificent Seven? Commodities is a thing. Why are we not trading it? I don't know what you are or aren't trading it. I'm trading it. Why do people care so much about the Magnificent Seven? Because they are basically the entire equities market and have a huge influence. Commodities is a thing. Yes, that is factually accurate. January 30th shutdown. Any thoughts? Nope, don't really care. I find too many people trying to take larger geopolitical things and make grand statements out of what that will or won't do to the market. And my point is, why waste your time and resources and mental energy like trying to predict where, dude, you're flipping a quarter. Just pay it. Like at the end of the day, price is king. What's a better indication of where price is going to go or what's going on? It's not you predicting, it's paying attention to where big money's at, such as options flows and whatnot. This idea of like, will this be bullish? Will this be bearish? Who cares? If you are predicting, great. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, but that doesn't mean you're making money. It's so silly, dude. It's so incredibly silly that any active traders, which I am defining very differently than long-term investors, is wasting any time trying to predict. Right now, like as silly as it is to predict the government shutdown or not, it's as silly to predict on the next bar, is it green or red? Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, but it's gonna be 50-50. Who gives a shit? That's not how you make money. Unless you have a model that can predict with some sort of high level of accuracy, which that model does not exist. And if it did exist, it wouldn't be used by retail. It would have been found by some super advanced quant fund and it would be making them billions of dollars a year, which maybe they found it. I don't know, but it's not in the world of retail. In the world of retail, if you want to be successful, it's not from predicting. The world of retail is successful. If you want to make money as a retail trader, because we don't have access to that news or those events, like we're going to be the last ones to get any piece of information. The way you can make money when you're kneecapped in that way is literally just your risk reward. Right here. I don't know if the market goes up or down. If you want to be long right now and you think it's going to go up, are you okay risking 91? Are you okay risking 69? If you're okay with that risk, have at it. If you want to go short right here, are you okay risking 36? Are you okay risking 39? Whatever. It's honestly just react to price developments. And when it moves like reasonably in your favor, okay, update your risk. Your initial risk should be something that you can live with if you're wrong. And then as things ideally trend in your favor, you improve it, improve it, improve it. Now, if you want to be a trader who moves it to break even, great. If you want to be a person who trails, if you want to be a person who scales out and has a runner, that's all up to you. But the idea is the initial trade should all be a risk you are fine accepting. And then from there, you should always be improving it to ideally you're either at no risk or your worst case scenario is you still making money. That's the way to do it over and over and over again. People who are active traders, swing traders, day traders, scalp traders, they're not there predicting earnings. They're not there predicting government announcements. They're not there predicting is the Supreme Court going to release information or not today. If you want to predict that type of stuff, go use call sheet, go use Polymarket. That's fine. That's easy. You don't have to worry about like noise in between or getting stopped out for this rule or that rule. There's better avenues to be predicting if that's what you want to do. The real question is, do you feel lucky, punk? Well, do you? Do you feel lucky, punk? Wow, we're over on the show today. Hey, I suppose it happens when you're having fun. The market, I don't know if this is recovering or not. All I can tell you is I'm not predicting it. Once again, do you know like fucking stupid it sounds to say, oh, I predict we bounce off of this. I predict we get rejected there. You might be right half the time. Maybe, probably not. Somewhere from 40 to 60% accuracy, you're going to have that. But if you're here to try to make money, which is, I assume, why you're watching this show, you wouldn't be predicting right now, do we break or not? You would literally wait for the development of price. You'd be looking at option flow. You'd be double checking momentum. You'd be looking at like the gamma levels and are people stepping in? Are they not stepping in? You would just literally be reacting to what's in front of your face. Okay, yeah, if we get above and close above the 50, great. Yeah, you could risk this recent low. Okay, if you're cool with that risk, you're cool with that risk. If it starts to break down and you want to take that short and risk whatever the swing high is and play to these next levels, yeah, you could do that too. But my point is at no point are you predicting. Of course, you might like be hopeful for something. I'm not going to be naive to that fact that like whenever any of us get into a position, of course, you're hoping it goes in your favor. I think that goes without saying. And yeah, so you might be hopeful for a moment, but if you're basing your trades off your just arbitrary gut feeling predictions, like why? Like no one in this world is good enough at predicting that you would be making money off of this. Like truly no person in the world, especially in the world of retail trading, is going to be net profitable by just doing those types of predictions. And if they are, it's because they got right on their first prediction and then left the casino. It'd be equivalent to walking into a real casino, doing one roll of the roulette wheel, betting on black, it hits black, and you say, cool, I'm done. But once again, that's just one single data point. It's not like a large series. So if you want to predict one random thing and place a big bet, hey, dude, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you crush it. I hope you make a bunch of money. But to think you're going to do that consistently, and that's like what your trading career is going to be, it just no one's done it. And to think that you're going to be the person who figures it out after millions and millions of people have attempted to, maybe you are God's gift to earth. And for some reason, you're so much smarter and you see the market in a way that literally no one else does. And you crack the code, maybe. But I'm looking at the odds of that. And that's currently what, 1 in 8 billion. So nah. Speaking of that, do I just want to kill this right now? I'm moving it. I'm trying to move it down just in case it gets hit. I don't know if that's going to be. Order filled. I just manually closed it because I wanted them all to say 2,000. So another 30K. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 35K day and change just in case it reverses. I don't know what's going on with the trend. I'm not in charge of the trend, but I'm seeing that SPX is maybe holding 6,900. And once again, I'm not trying to predict a random rejection. This has the capability of squeezing all the way back up. So cool, I locked in my money. And guess what? If it starts to get smacked, I could always get back in. But for right now, while we're in that kind of like indecisive, like, yeah, the trend, it got back above here. We're seeing no more selling, but we're seeing price there. Mag 7 starting to pop. Okay, maybe the trend is reversing. We're back at IB here. Yes, I might have got out at the worst time. There is a non-zero chance that this just gets smacked from here and vomits 200 points and I miss out on 4K. That's totally possible. But remember, having extra profit is mathematically different than actually taking a loss. And for me, I was short at 600 and my stop was at 70. And instead I got an extra 35 points. That's an extra $700. So yeah, I like the trade. Like, you have to admit what you don't know. And what I don't know is the next bar. If the next bar is some sort of giant reversal, I don't want to be involved. And the fact that there's a non-zero chance that the next bar might be a giant reversal, what just happened there? I don't want to take this chance. This whole morning, I've been talking about that 6,900 level right here. It looks like we overshot it, put in a higher low, tested, finally got the breakout. If you took that trade, like I said, that's a very reasonable trade. You're in at 902, you're risking 97. At this point, as soon as you take out 14, your stop would be to break even. That's a phenomenal trade. As soon as that became potential, I got out of my position, locked in my 37K, and I am done for the day. We don't need to overcomplicate this. We don't need to use stupid fucking systems of whatever people want to call it, this, that, the other thing. Everyone is just, I'll let you in on a little secret of like how the whatever, I suppose, retail education world goes right now. There's nothing new under the sun. As much as people are talking about, what is it, like SMT, ICT, FVG, whatever the fuck they all are, dude, there's nothing new. None of those people came up with what they're talking about. It's the same shit that's been going on for years and years and years. And prior to this, it would be like something like volume profiles. And before that, it's support and resistance and this and that. Dude, it's all just new terms being placed on top of things that we've already all known about for literally decades. There's nothing new. There's no person in the influencing space, the retail education space, that is coming up with something that we have not seen before. It is new terminology on top of methodologies that have already existed for decades, and I promise you that. So as much as people might dazzle you with bullshit about this term, that term, and the other term, literally, it's just highs and lows. It's just that like it all boils down to previous highs and lows. Do we have higher highs and higher lows? Great, it's bullish. Do we have lower highs and lower lows? Great, it's bearish. Lower highs, higher lows? Great, it's consolidating. Higher highs and lower lows? Great, it's expanding. Where are those highs? Did we take out the highs? What about the lows? Did we take out those lows? Like, that's all it is. And people want to complicate it, and they'll just drone on for hours and hours of just fucking seminars and teaching and this and that. God damn, it's the fact that there's so many people falling for this. As you can imagine, it drives me up a fucking wall. Too much profanity. Okay, cool. Suck my dick. Ask me if I care. Like, too much profanity. Would it, as much as you have an issue with that, I have too much of an issue with you being like such a large gaping pussy. I guess we both have issues today. And, I'll file a complaint. You could file a complaint. I could tell you at Goonie Trading Inc., we'll get back to you in 2 to 3 business weeks. Probably not looking good for you, but whatever. Profanity. Imagine in the world of the markets where you're actively trading for your income, and that's your biggest concern. But he said a bad word. He said a bad word. He said a bad word. Yeah, I guess have your mom call into the show. I could talk to her about it. It's a quote like Daniel Negreanu, poker is simple. Have the best hand. Oh, jeez. Like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't let a retard say something smart. Goonie HR here. I approve. Can we have more variety to the profanity? See, now that's a fair criticism. That's something I think we could all get behind. Maybe I need to up my level. Actually, I would have been knocked out right there. So I guess I did myself a solid by taking an extra 35 points on that potential reversal. I would have been a real savage if I actually took the long. If I got out here at 16 and took that long, you can see it a little bit. I would have been trading off the 1 minute right here. 15, 16. I guess you could have even taken at 42 and you're just risking 33. That's not bad. But yeah, no. Looks like it's curse in other languages. Like, why did he get so into being a polyglot? So he just wanted to curse better. That's fair. That's fair. I fuck with Matt when he goes heel and tells people SMD. They'll get over it. And whatever. If they never watch us again, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, because if you have that emotional fragility, you're not going to last long in trading anyway. So I don't care. I think I just grew up on a different recess playground situation than many other people in this world did. When you grew up on the recess on the playground in the 90s, I guess we're just not made out of glass. Why don't we just respect each other? It's Matt's show. Choose not to watch. I don't like cursing myself, but it isn't my show. At first, I thought you were going to say something that I was going to make fun of you, but that's actually pretty nice. So, whatever. Stop making money, Matt. You're making me look bad. A lot of softies. Where are you from? Boston? Softies. Can you show the flow one more time? Absolutely. Mag 7 got hit all day, but finally going flat starting at 11. S&P 500, strong recovery ever since this 1050 period, and pretty much aligning with this recapture of 6,900 key technical level, psychological level. Obviously, if you took that, your first target is 25, which is the bottom of the transition zone, but it's also this major positive gamma right here. Maybe I should zoom in one more if that makes it. So you have this positive gamma target at 25. If the market really gets excited after 25, your target would be up here at 60. It's not a safe space. No, this is not a Somali daycare designated safe place. This is the real McCoy. This is the real thing. Anyway, those are the levels. You're watching 25. If it gets rejected, look at 6,900. If it breaks out, watch 40, but then more specifically 55. And then from there, you have the attempt of going from red to green on the day. If you haven't already, Apex, use that code GOONIE, GOONIE, 80% off. You have 1 day left. And if you want to track the options flow and the sentiment, everything going on in the world of options, it's pinned at the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Spot Gamma is by far the best options analytics tool. So if you're interested in it, 80% off, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. So that link and code GOONIE on Apex both will get you 80% off. We'll be posting an update video later on today after the market closes, so you're better prepared for tomorrow. And in the meantime, I'm going to go hang out in the GOONIE Discord. Feel free to join if you want to do that. Other than that, we will be streaming once again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. bright and early. That's what I have for you. I wish you the best of luck. I appreciate all the good vibes, and I hope you make a fuckload of money. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.